father. Um, Something that really changed my life, really in a bad way. I was 5 years old at the time, and my brother was 6 years old, and my sister was 4 years old. And we were sitting in the living room on a couch together watching TV. And my mother was vacuuming the carpet. And she found something under the couch, some chocolate, and probably why I used chocolate in the movie. And as a kid, I hated chocolate. I never ate chocolate. I wasn't allergic to it, I just didn't like it. And she found chocolate under the couch, and it was stuck to the brand new carpeting. And my family was very poor, so this was a big thing that we had carpeting in this room, and we were all sitting in the room trying not to make any dirt or anything. And she found this chocolate. And she was very upset by it. So she started to complain and scream, and who did this? And you ruined the carpet. And she moved the couch back, and she started cleaning up, and she started screaming. And my father came in the room, very aggressive, and he took the three of us and he said, "All right, who put the chocolate under the couch? Which one of you put the chocolate under the couch?" And my brother said, "I didn't do it." And my sister said, "I didn't do it." And he looked at me and he said, "You little son of a bitch, I know it was you. I know it was you. You did it." And I said, I didn't do it. I didn't do it, and I don't even eat chocolate. I don't like chocolate. Everybody knows I don't like chocolate. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And he said, Don't tell me, because you're an little evil bastard. I know you did it." And I said, "I didn't do it. What about them? Why are you picking on me? And so he started hitting me, started beating me around the house, and slapping me, and he wanted me to admit that I had done this thing. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And I was not going to admit to doing it if I didn't do it. I was not going to admit to it. So he tried to hit me really hard several times so that I would break and admit that I did it. And I would not. He'd hit me hard, and I'd say, "I didn't do it. I didn't do it." So he put me in the car, and it was evening time. It was dark. It was late. And when you're 5 years old, nighttime is very scary. And he drove me to the emergency room entrance of a hospital in Buffalo, but a hospital known for psychiatric patients, very similar to Bellevue Hospital. They had a psychiatric ward. And he told me that if I didn't admit that I put the chocolate there, that he was going to take me to this psychiatric ward because I was an evil devil, and I needed to go live in a hospital, and I would not be allowed to come home ever again. I'd have to go live with crazy people. So I was sitting in the car. I was very nervous, but I didn't do it. Do you understand? I didn't do it. I didn't put the fucking chocolate under the couch. So I said, I didn't do it. And we pulled up to the entrance of the emergency room, and he told me one last time, okay? And I saw all the ambulances there, and those things, they're scary when you're young. It's just bad. The hospital, the only memory I had of the hospital was my grandparents dying, and bad things. So I was very scared, very scared. And he told me, "All right, listen, I'm going to give you one more chance, you little son of a bitch. I'm going to give you one more chance to admit that you did it, or I'm going to take you in that hospital, and I'm going to leave you there." And I said, "But I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I swear, it wasn't me. And he came around, and he dragged me by my ear out of the car, and he started taking me to the emergency room entrance, to the door. And just before we got to the door, I said, okay, I did it. It was me, I did it." And I think that he knew at that point that I didn't do it. I think he knew by my confession that I didn't do it, that it finally hit his mind that I really didn't do it. But it was too late. You understand? It was too late. He had gone so far that it was too late. And it was just a bad thing. It was just bad. I had to admit, it just was bad. And ever since then, all somebody has to do is accuse me of something. Anytime somebody would be missing their wallet in class or in a bar, I desperately wanted them to find it because I thought everybody would think it was me. But this moment was just really ugly. It was just bad, you know. It just was bad. But there was a million days like that. You know, there was a million days like that. That was an everyday thing. But when I moved out of the house when I was 16 years old, I moved out on my birthday, on my 16th birthday. My father, I had always told him, when I'm 16, I'm going to move out of the house. When I'm 16, I'm going to move out of the house. So on the morning of my birthday, he knocked on my door, and he came in and he said, all right, Mr. Big Shot, you think you're such a big shot? You're 16 years old? Then get the hell out of the house. So I packed up some things and I left. And I went to some girl's house that I was dating at the time. She was a few years older than me. She had an apartment and everything. And I thought, oh, this is fucking great. And I made a sign, and 2 days later I hitchhiked to New York City, and I moved to New York. And I was feeling really good, like really good for about a month. Away from them, I felt really good. For the first time in my whole life, I felt like a person. And I went to Paris with some friends, and a girl that I was dating, a German girl, had gone with another boy. I caught her with another boy, and it upset me a little bit, but it upset me a lot, but I pretended that it didn't. And I was in Paris, and all of a sudden, all the pain of my whole life, because I never let it out, I always just, held it in. All the pain of my whole life began to affect me at the same time. And I was in Paris walking with somebody, and next thing I knew, I was out of my mind. But really out of my mind. I woke up in a hospital a couple days later. And my whole adult life has been from that moment of bottom, of really being in a hospital, out of my mind, gradually working myself back to the person that I was as a young person, as a little boy. That person, that attitude, that nature, that behavior. And it took a long time to find any kind of charisma or charm or hopefulness about life. For the first 5 or 6 years, it was just getting through the day. And if you look at my earliest artwork or my earliest films or my earliest, we were talking about a film I did, Doc's Kingdom, in 1985. You can see in my face that it's another person, really, that's another person. And if you look at a picture of me during that time, I look 30 years older than I am now. So my whole life has been about containing my personality with my parents until I left home, and then feeling all the insanity of that, and gradually moving towards becoming myself again and forgiving my parents for that experience. Writing the screenplay helped me a lot. Making the movie was a real catharsis, although the real beauty of the film for me is the aesthetic and the sensibility and the concept of the movie. But the part of it in the narrative, in the writing, where I get to the family's house was really important for me in a personal way to have that catharsis and to go to Buffalo and to make the movie and then to have my family see the movie was interesting for me. But I'm in a relationship now. I'm married. I have my first love affair of my whole life. So I'm very old. I'm in my 30s. I'm, just turned 37 years old. So to be in a love affair for the first time this late into my life has brought up a lot of those other painful abandonments and fears and things, and it's very difficult for me each day to love somebody and be loved by them, and I'm disappointed in myself for not being more prepared for that experience, because I put a lot of pressure then on my wife and myself because of my ability to withdraw all the time, because I'm so unused to caring about somebody. I never cared about anybody in my whole life, especially not myself. I mean, when I raced motorcycles for 14 years. It's a very dangerous sport, and I would get in crashes all the time, brutal crashes all the time. And the only thing I would worry about was the bike. You know, did I fuck up the paint? How much was it going to cost to fix it? And how long was it going to take me before I could walk again because I needed to clean the house or something? It was never, oh wow, I almost killed myself. You know, never that. So it's difficult for me to be in that relationship now. But making the movie helped me a lot, really a lot, and it helped me a lot that I was able to document a lot of my sensibilities, as my musical sensibilities, my visual composition sensibilities, my acting performance, my writing performance, the filmmaking itself, all the choices, the credit sequence, everything that I obsessed on, that I always wanted, the poster, the CD, I got to control everything, even the trailer for the movie. I made the trailer for the movie. So something about that makes me feel very good, because forever it's been documented, and I feel much less anxious about proving myself in that way or being remembered in that way. Sorry, I talked too long. Now, as an adult, I remember a lot of those things as funny, but in the moment, no, I didn't. I had very little pleasure in a family sense, but I was very full of life. I mean, you know, I played baseball, football, basketball. I had hobbies. I raced motorcycles as a kid. I had lots of things. I loved being alive, but anytime my father or mother came around, there was always something wrong, you know. So as long as I was away from them, I was really happy. And as long as I could go to the basement. Do you have that in Japan? Do they build basements?
No.
No, okay. Well, we have these things where you, under the house, there's a room, and it's a place where you store things. But I had all my pets there, and my fish tanks, and my models, and all my things that I worked on. And I would come home from school, and I would go in the basement and just stay alone, and I was very happy, very happy. Everything that I do is conceptual, and everything that I'm obsessed with is aesthetic. So the combination of conceptual ideas and aesthetics, consistent in everything that I do, makes the film have a kind of soul and a monochromatic clearness. So, you know, I didn't visualize the film in that way, the way that you saw the film. I visualized it conceptually in an aesthetic way, and that's how it turns out, you know, something like that. It's a bit, when I was making the movie, I didn't really think about the film actually ever being released in the movie theaters. I really made the film from what I thought was my own point of view at the time. So my sensibility is a bit experimental, I guess. I guess that's the way to describe it. Yeah, it's a beautiful love story. I mean, really, in the end, that's all the movie is. It's a love story. Yeah, but there, I could make 100 films, and they could be about 100 different things, and they could have 100 different characters, but it would always be like that. Believe me, it would always somehow be like that if I allowed myself to really think about the film in a big way. Then it would always be like that. Um, I'd be really happy if you saw the film. That's really all I can say. I'm very proud of the movie, and I would like as many people to see it as possible. I guess I'm a bit selfish in that way. So, but please be patient with the characters and the story, because the film needs to be watched as a whole piece. And I'm very proud that the film is showing in Japan, because I respect very much the judgment of the Japanese audience. And so I hope you like the movie. I hope you like it.